Companies the world over can't plan past next week because Trump might tweet. Families are losing $3,800 per year. And the Commerce Secretary thinks that the US can grow tropical fruit in Iowa. God save America. We can't grow bananas in America. Those 6 words, those 6 brilliant words, just perfectly encapsulated the entire Trump administration's economic illiteracy in one breathtaking moment of stupidity.
We cannot build bananas in America.
There's no uncertainty. If you build in America and you produce your product in America, there will be no tariff.
We can't
so
produce
the concept
bananas in
of
America.
building in America and paying no tariff is very, very clear.
Build bananas in America. Grow bananas in America. This is Trump's Commerce Secretary, folks. The man supposedly guiding America's economic policy just suggested that somehow the US should manufacture tropical fruit in Iowa. But this exchange, this absolutely bonkers congressional hearing, revealed something far more terrifying than one cabinet member's ignorance about basic agriculture. It exposed the catastrophic reality of Trump's economic chaos, where tariffs are weapons, uncertainty is policy, and your grocery bill is collateral damage.
I'll give you an example of one. Bananas.
So Rep. Madeleine Dean from Pennsylvania comes prepared. She's heard from constituents, from small businesses, from bankers, everyone singing the same song. We can't plan. We can't invest. We don't know what the hell is happening. And she zeroes in on the perfect example. Bananas.
Banana, banana!
Americans buy billions of them every year. They're a breakfast staple, a kid's lunchbox essential, a smoothie ingredient. And guess what? The US imports every single one.
What's the tariff on bananas?
Tariff on bananas would be representative of the countries that produce them.
And what's that tariff?
Generally 10%.
10% on a product that literally cannot be produced domestically. And Walmart, surprise, surprise, has already jacked up banana prices by 8%. Not because of supply issues, not because of the weather, because of Trump's idiotic tariff tantrum. But wait. It gets better. Dean asks Lutnick a very simple historical question. When did America last have a trade surplus?
Do you know when this country actually had a trade surplus, Secretary?
Early, about 100 years ago.
It was the Great Depression. It was a sign of what was going on. It was during the Great Depression. That's a direction none of us wants to go.
The Great Depression. She just dropped an economic mic on this dude. The last time America had a trade surplus, people were jumping out of windows and eating shoe leather soup. The breadline stretched for blocks. A quarter of the workforce couldn't find jobs. And this is what Trump's brain thinks the US should aspire to. This is the golden age they want to recreate. This is what happens when you put Wall Street guys who have never taken Econ 101 in charge of the economy. They hear deficit and think bad, like a toddler learning colours. They don't understand that my trade deficit with my local grocery store doesn't mean I'm losing. It means I have money to buy food. And the real consequences? They are spectacular. The OECD just downgraded US growth projections from 2.8% to 1.6%. That's not a trim. That's an amputation. Yale economists calculate the average American family is losing $3,800 in purchasing power. Wharton, Trump's own alma mater, projects middle-income households face a $22,000 lifetime loss. But those are just numbers, right? So let's translate. That's your kid's college fund. That's your retirement. That's the vacation you've been saving for, the home renovation you needed, the cushion that helped you sleep at night. CEO confidence has crashed to its lowest level since 2012. One Fortune 500 executive told reporters, "I don't trust what's said today will be true tomorrow." You see, that's the biggest problem, right? The people running America's biggest companies, people who are supposed to plan 5-10 years ahead, can't even plan for next week because Trump might wake up and slap a tariff on paperclips. Foxconn CEO called it perfectly. It is very, very hard to predict how things will develop. When the people making your iPhones can't figure out what's happening, you Your trade policy needs work. But here's the crown jewel on all of this stupidity. When Dean points out that people are paying tariffs on things they can't produce, Lutnick responds with this.
There's no uncertainty if you build in America and you produce your product in America.
All right, Howard, let me grab banana seeds and head to Minnesota. Maybe I'll plant some pineapple trees in Montana while I'm at it. Hell, I'll grow coffee beans in Nebraska. I'm sure they'll love the frost. This isn't just ignorance. This is aggressive, weaponized stupidity deployed against the American people. Meanwhile, internationally, complete fucking chaos. The American Chamber of Commerce in the UK and Denmark, Dean met with them, and we're pulling our hair out. How do you expand operations when tomorrow the president might declare war on Danish butter? Canada and Mexico, America's two biggest trading partners, literal neighbors, are retaliating with their own tariffs. They've turned NAFTA from a trade agreement into a food fight, and guess who's getting hit with the pie? American consumers are. But here's the truly insidious part. Some companies aren't just raising prices on tariffed goods, they're jacking up everything. The New York Fed found companies deliberately hiking up prices on products that aren't even affected by tariffs, using the chaos to cover for pure profiteering. So not only is Trump's policy directly costing you money through tariffs, it's giving corporate America permission to pick your pockets on everything else. You can hear the exasperation in Dean's voice. She's not some radical. She's a modern Democrat from suburban Philly trying to explain basic economy to a man who should already know this.
Mr. Secretary, I believe you know better. I believe you recognize that a trade deficit is not something to fear. I believe you know that predictability, stability is essential for businesses.
She's saying, look, we both know this is bullshit. Just admit it. But he can't, because admitting Trump's trade war is economic malpractice would mean admitting that he's been lying to you from day one. Joseph Gagnon from the Peterson Institute put it bluntly, tariffs have little direct impact on deficits. What they do impact? Innovation, productivity, your standard of living. Countries with the lowest trade barriers, Singapore, Switzerland, have massive trade surpluses. Countries with the highest barriers, Brazil, India, run deficits. It's almost like protectionism doesn't work. But Trump doesn't care about economics. He cares about theatre, about looking tough, about having an enemy to blame when his policies fail. So we return to those 6 words. We cannot grow bananas in America.
We cannot
Fighting for
build
imports
bananas
is
in
not the
America.
In any sane administration, this would be the moment of clarity. The, oh shit, our policies make no sense epiphany. But not here. Not with these people. Because Howard Lutnick, net worth of $1.5 billion, doesn't care if your groceries cost 10% more. Donald Trump, who gold plates his toilets, doesn't notice if eggs double in price. They'd be fine.
It's such an old-fashioned term, but a beautiful term, groceries. It sort of says a bag with different things in it.
But you're paying the price for their ignorance. Every trip to the grocery store, every business that can't expand because they don't know what's happening in the months to come. Every job that doesn't get created because companies are paralyzed by uncertainty. This is what economic chaos looks like. Not some dramatic crash, just the slow, steady bleeding of American prosperity by people too arrogant to admit that they don't understand the basics. Build bananas in America, he says.
Bananas.
Marie Antoinette told peasants to eat cake when they had no bread. Howard Lutnick tells Americans to grow bananas in the snow. Same energy, same ending. The only question is how much damage they do before Americans show them the door. Because unlike bananas, stupidity seems to grow just fine in Washington. And everyone but the billionaires are paying the price for this particular rotten crop.